Hey, so I recently stumbled upon this incredible way to build serverless workflows using Azure Functions. It's about chaining these functions using input and output bindings to work in tandem like never before. The whole setup, the intricate dance of the pieces working together, is both fascinating and super practical, don't you think? Imagine this: you've got two core parts of your service, each handling a distinct yet related task. You fire off the first function, and voila, it does its job, transforming some input data and passing the result along as an output to another function. The beauty: the second function picks up exactly where the first left off without having to hold anything in cache or worry about persisting state by itself. It's like passing a baton in a relay race in real time. Now, here's the technical lowdown. Azure functions can be triggered through various methods such as HTTP, timer, queue messages, from a custom binding, and more. For interfunction communication, we specifically leverage output bindings for sending results and input bindings to receive the inputs of the successive chain. And the workflow design is not just about data passing. It's gotten to this point because architects and engineers realize this setup is not just elegant but also cost-effective. And let's not forget the simplicity of testing and maintaining such a structure. Setting up these bindings is like a puzzle that's surprisingly easy to piece together. Here's a deep dive into how I set up a simple chain. First, I created a basic HTTP triggered function and mapped its output to a blob. Then, I crafted another HTTP triggered function, but with a twist. This one reads from the blob and writes to another blob as output, forming that essential link. The input binding references the output from the previous function, and the output binding specifies where to send the results of the next in line. It's incredibly intuitive once you wrap your head around it. Of course, when designing workflows on this serverless platform, you'd want robust error handling and reliable timeouts. Azure Functions do provide mechanisms, like the function's return time in seconds and integration with Azure CloudWatch for monitoring. It's reassuring to know that tools are in place to catch and diagnose problems early. What's more, with bindings, you are not tied down to any one data storage provider, which means you have flexibility when it comes to picking the best fit for Azure Functions. And if your design grows, you are not just scaling horizontally but can also scale up the entire operation with ease. And let's not forget that this integration makes it a breeze to leverage the built-in security features in Azure, like managed identities and managed virtual networks. All this while keeping the costs in check because, after all, that's the deal breaker for businesses. The serverless model means only paying for the compute time you are using, no ominous server bills at the end of the month. And the fact that you are not provisioning any hardware allows for an operational flexibility that's just unheard of. What I've learned here is that chaining Azure Functions is more than just getting the data to flow and transform. It's about crafting an operational masterpiece that scales, it's secure, and it's as cost-effective as it can be. It empowers engineers to build something resilient and maintainable that's in harmony with Azure infrastructure. You'll need a way to handle a steady flow of data and understand the ins and outs of various triggers and bindings that are vital in setting up a resilient service. So, it's about getting that hands-on experience with Azure Functions, understanding triggers, binding types, and how triggers work together to create a seamless pipeline. What's crucial here is mastering these concepts to build workflows that are not just hypotheticals but real-world solutions. Azure storage blobs are a favorite among my workarounds, serving as a dynamic and persistent object in the chain that I can always reference. It's all about having just the right tools for the right job. By using the right resources and configuring them properly, it's possible to achieve reliability and high availability of serverless apps. And let's not forget testing, it's non-negotiable. It's like putting on the first performance of your grand production, and you want to ensure every actor knows their lines. That meticulous testing is what makes Chain Azure Functions not only robust but also reliable. If it's all too complex or challenging, worry not. Azure's monitoring, logs, and debugging tools step in, offering a level of introspection you can only dream of in traditional setups. It's about diving deep to ensure everything operates as intended, all while maintaining optimal costs. Remember, every query counts, and efficiency is the name of the game. In terms of security protocols like encryption, I've been all about using Azure's managed keys to lock down data and securing the network for data in transit and at rest, employing the latest industry standards. So when it comes to the deployment, you've got to roll out the functions with a plan. With environment variables, connection strings, and resource management in mind, I've always kept things orderly and efficient. Plus, managing secrets securely using Azure Key Vault adds an extra layer of trustworthiness to my functions. And let me tell you, when it comes to monitoring, I use Azure Monitor extensively. It's like having a super sensitive ear to the subtle whispers of the system's needs. Logs are my diaries, and I ensure every eventuality gets logged properly for audits and troubleshooting to find any issue before they become problems. In the event of an outage or failure, having a backup plan, along with an adequate retry strategy, is like my safety net. Advanced troubleshooting often leads me down the road to understanding the full scope of my service and its dependencies. That's the beauty of Azure Functions, is that they integrate so well with other Azure services, making it a pleasure to pinpoint issues fast. And through it all, remember, I'm here to share and learn. There's always more to the story. Azure continuous experiments are my cup of tea for ensuring I have data-driven practices without breaking a sweat. And as you delve deeper into this serverless world, there are best practices and frameworks worth exploring, such as the Serverless Framework and Zappa, offering you a framework to build upon and scale better and easier. Now, to close it out, for anyone looking to take Azure Functions to the next level in their serverless journey, I always recommend diving deep into documentation and taking part in Azure communities for knowledge exchange. And hey, if you wanted to connect with professionals on Azure like me, you'd find me at neeraj.qzz.io. I'd gladly subscribe to TechLab to stay in touch and keep learning together. Cheers to the serverless future, and I hope this guide helps you along your TechLab expedition.